Commander Dae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the New Seoul, watching the stars stretch past his ship. 3 months into their deep space mission, his crew had mapped 12 new systems. Today felt different, though. The sensors were picking up something they had never seen before. "Commander," called out Engineer Tae-min Choi from his station, "we have unknown energy readings coming from the 4th planet in this system. It looks like technology, but not like anything in our databases." Dr. Yoon-ji Park looked up from her research station with excitement in her eyes. As the ship's chief scientist, she lived for moments like this. "First contact protocols, Commander?" Dae-ho nodded slowly. In all his years exploring space for the Terran Federation, he had only met 7 alien species. Each meeting had changed humanity's understanding of the galaxy. "Yes, but carefully. Captain Lee, what do you think?" Captain Boram Lee had fought in the wars against the aggressive Centauri pirates. She trusted her instincts more than her instruments. The energy patterns are too organized to be natural. Someone built whatever is down there. "But Commander, they know we are here. Our sensors work both ways." As if responding to her words, the ship's communication system came alive with sounds unlike anything they had heard before. It was like music made of crystal bells mixed with whale songs. The sounds formed patterns that seemed almost like language. Dr. Park moved quickly to her translation computers. "This is incredible. The mathematical base of their communication suggests high intelligence. They are trying to talk to us." The beautiful sounds continued for several minutes. Then, in broken but clear human language, a voice came through their speakers. "Greetings, travelers from the stars. We are the Velthani. We welcome you in peace." Everyone on the bridge looked at each other with amazement. No alien species had ever learned human language so quickly after first contact. "How did they learn our language so fast?" whispered Taemin. Dr. Park was already working on her computers. "They must have been listening to our communications and learning. Their minds work much faster than ours." Commander Kim took a deep breath and activated the communication system. "This is Commander Dae-ho Kim of the Terran Federation ship New Seoul. We also come in peace. We would like to meet you." "We would be honored," came the reply. "We will send a small ship to meet you. Please do not fear our appearance. We are different from you, but we wish only friendship." An hour later, the Velthani ship approached the New Seoul. It looked like it was made from living crystal that changed colors as it moved. When it docked with their ship, the airlocks opened to reveal beings that took everyone's breath away. The Velthani looked like walking pieces of art made from clear crystal. They were tall and thin, with bodies that seemed to glow with soft light. When they moved, they made gentle musical sounds. Their leader stepped forward and bowed in what seemed like a respectful greeting. "I am known as Harmony of Stars," the being said through a translation device. "I speak for my people on the world below. We have watched the stars for many cycles, hoping to meet other peaceful beings." Dr. Park could barely contain her excitement. "Your ship, your technology, it's incredible. How do you build with living crystal?" "We grow our tools rather than make them," Harmony of Stars explained. "Our world has taught us to work with life instead of against it. We have learned that cooperation brings more success than conflict." Captain Lee remained suspicious. "How many of your people live on the planet below?" "Several million in our main cities. We have spread across our world, but we take only what we need and give back more than we take. This is the way of peace." The next few days passed like a wonderful dream. The Velthani invited human teams to visit their world. Dr. Park led a group of scientists who were amazed by what they saw. The Velthani cities grew from the ground like beautiful crystal forests. Their technology seemed to work without harming the environment at all. "Look at this," Dr. Park told Commander Kim over the radio. "They have medical devices that can heal almost any injury or disease. Their farming methods can grow food in any soil. They have solved problems that have troubled humanity for centuries." The Velthani seemed eager to share their knowledge. They showed the humans how they had developed their biotechnology through thousands of years of peaceful research. They explained their philosophy of harmony with all life forms. "We believe That all intelligent life has value, Harmony of Stars told the human delegation. We have met other species before you. Some were afraid of us at first, but we showed them that friendship brings benefits to everyone. What happened to these other species? Asked Captain Lee. They became our partners in peace. We shared our knowledge and they shared theirs. Everyone became stronger together. Commander Kim found himself believing in the Velthani message. Here was a species that had achieved everything humanity dreamed of: advanced technology, peaceful society, harmony with nature. When they offered to share their medical technology in exchange for human cultural knowledge, it seemed like a perfect trade. They want to learn about our art, our music, our philosophy, he told his crew. In return, they will give us technology that could save millions of lives in our colonies. Dr. Park was especially excited. Commander, they are offering to share the secrets of biological medicine. We could cure genetic diseases that have plagued humanity for generations. Even Captain Lee seemed convinced by the evidence of Velthani, peaceful intentions. Their cities showed no military installations. Their people seemed to live without conflict. Their technology was clearly defensive rather than offensive. I still feel something is wrong, she told Commander Kim privately, but I cannot point to any evidence. Everything they show us supports their claims of being peaceful. The cultural exchange began immediately. The humans shared databases of human history, art, literature, and philosophy. The Velthani listened, with what seemed like genuine interest to human music and poetry. They asked detailed questions about human biology, psychology, and social structures. They are such quick learners, Dr. Park observed. They understand human culture better after 3 days than some humans do after years of study. The Velthani medical technology proved everything they had promised. The devices could heal injuries in minutes and cure diseases that human medicine could not touch. When they tested the technology on volunteers, the results were miraculous. This will change everything for humanity, Commander Kim reported back to Earth. We have found a species that could be our greatest ally. But late one night, Engineer Choi noticed something strange in the ship's computer logs. Commander, the Velthani have been accessing our databases when they thought we were not watching. They have copied much more information than we agreed to share. What kind of information? Kim asked. Everything about human biology. Our genetic codes, our immune systems, our psychological profiles. They have also accessed our military databases and our colony locations. Dr. Park tried to explain it away. Maybe they are just curious. Their culture seems to value knowledge above all else. Captain Lee was not convinced. No, this feels like intelligence gathering, not cultural exchange. Commander Kim decided to confront Harmony of Stars about the unauthorized access. But when he tried to contact the Velthani, their communication channels had gone silent. The beautiful crystal ships around their planet had disappeared. Sir, called Tai Min from his station, I am detecting massive energy buildups on the planet's surface. It looks like they are preparing to launch something. Before anyone could respond, the space around the new Sol filled with Velthani ships. But these were not the beautiful crystal vessels they had seen before. These ships looked like weapons, dark and threatening. Harmony of Stars' voice came over their communications, but the friendly tone was gone. Thank you for your cooperation, humans. You have provided us with everything we needed to know about your species. What are you talking about? Demanded Commander Kim. We are the gardeners of the galaxy. We cultivate species until they reach the proper development, then we harvest them. Your psychological profiles show that you are now ready. The horrible truth hit everyone on the bridge at the same time. Dr. Park's face went white as she realized what the Velthani had really been doing. The other species you mentioned, what really happened to them? They became part of us, as you will. Your biological data shows that humans will provide excellent material for our purposes. Your colonies have been marked for collection. Captain Lee was already moving to battle stations. Commander, we need to get out of here now. But it was too late. The Velthani had been planning this moment since first contact. Their weapons, designed specifically from human biological data, struck the new Sol before the humans could react. The ship's shields, built to stop energy weapons, could not protect against the biological attack. The last thing Commander Kim saw before losing consciousness was the beautiful crystal beings revealing their true nature. They were not peaceful gardeners. They were farmers, and humanity was their latest crop. 2 weeks after the new soul returned to Earth, the entire human race had changed. Commander Kim barely recognized the world he had left just months before. Every city, every space station, every colony that had survived the Velthani attacks was now focused on one single purpose: war. General Dong-hyun Kang met Kim at the military headquarters. The general's eyes held a hardness that Kim had never seen before, even in veteran soldiers. "Commander, welcome to the new reality," General Kang said as they walked through the facility. 60 billion humans are now working together for the first time in our species' history. We have no politics, no nations, no competing interests. We have only one enemy and one goal. The hallways buzzed with activity. Scientists worked alongside soldiers. Engineers collaborated with philosophers, and children as young as 12 were contributing to research projects. Dr. Su Jinbai approached them with a tablet full of technical data. "Commander Kim, we have been studying the Velthani biological samples your crew brought back. We found something interesting." Kim followed her to a laboratory where dozens of scientists were working with Velthani technology. "What did you discover?" "The Velthani are incredibly advanced, but they have one critical weakness. They think in patterns that never change. Look at this." She showed him attack data from all 47 species the Velthani had harvested. Every attack follows exactly the same sequence: cultural exchange, biological analysis, coordinated strikes, then systematic harvest. "So they are predictable?" Dr. Bay smiled grimly. "More than predictable. They are prisoners of their own success. For 10,000 years this method has worked perfectly. They have never needed to adapt because no species has ever forced them to change their approach." General Kang pulled up military reports on his screen. "We have been running war games based on this theory. The Velthani expect us to respond like every other species, with the same military tactics humans have used for centuries. But we are not going to do that. What are we going to do instead? Something no other species has ever tried. We are going to evolve our entire approach to warfare while we fight them. Every battle will use completely different tactics than the one before." Commander Mi Young-seo joined them from the Special Forces training area. "Commander Kim, we call it evolution protocol. The Velthani study their enemies and predict their actions based on past behavior. But what if we have no past behavior to study?" Kim was beginning to understand. "You want to become a completely different kind of enemy with every engagement." "Exactly," General Kang confirmed. "The Velthani have detailed files on human military history, human psychology, human technology. But they have never fought humans, who are willing to throw away everything they know about warfare and start over every single day." Dr. Bay led them to another section of the lab where engineers were working with captured Velthani ships. "We have been reverse engineering their technology, but not to copy it. We are learning how it works so we can build weapons specifically designed to counter it." Engineer Taemin, who had been promoted to fleet engineer, was working with a team on something that looked like a normal human ship but felt different. "Taemin, what are you building?" Kim asked. "Ghost ships, Commander. The Velthani identify targets by reading energy signatures and biological traces. These ships can change their signatures to look like anything: Velthani vessels, space debris, even empty space. How is that possible? We studied how their crystal technology grows and changes. We built human technology that can mimic those changes. The Velthani will see their own ships when they look at us." Dr. Park, who had been working with the intelligence teams, approached with new information. "Commander, we have intercepted more Velthani communications. They are confused by our response to their attacks." "Confused how?" "Every other species they harvested either tried to hide or fought back using traditional military tactics. We are doing neither. Instead, we evacuated our most vulnerable colonies and started building new ones in places they would never expect." Captain Lee, now promoted to Admiral, joined the briefing. "We are not trying to defend territory the way they expect. We are turning our entire civilization into a mobile force that can strike anywhere and disappear before they can respond." General Kang brought up a galactic map showing human movements. Look at this. Instead of building defensive lines around our most important worlds, we abandoned them completely. Our entire population is now spread across 1,000 small hidden bases. The Velthani are trying to harvest a civilization that no longer exists in the form they studied, Dr. Bay explained. They plan to attack fixed targets with known populations. Instead, they are chasing ghosts. Commander Seo showed Kim footage from recent battles. Watch this engagement from last week. The Velthani attacked one of our convoy fleets using their standard tactics, but our ships did something they never expected. In the footage, human ships that appeared to be retreating suddenly split apart into smaller vessels that attacked from 6 different directions simultaneously. The Velthani formation, designed to counter traditional human naval tactics, was completely unprepared for the coordinated swarm attack. "How did you develop this so quickly?" Kim asked. "We did not develop it," General Kang replied. "We invented it during the battle. Evolution protocol means our commanders are authorized to create completely new tactics in real time, without asking for permission or following established procedures." Dr. Park showed him communication intercepts from Velthani command ships. Listen to this exchange between their fleet commanders after that battle. The translated Velthani voices sounded frustrated and confused. Human behavior does not match psychological profiles. Previous patterns indicate they should mass their forces for direct confrontation. Instead, they fragment into unpredictable smaller units. The enemy adapts faster than our combat algorithms can adjust. Recommend revised approach. Revised approach not possible. Harvest protocols are optimized for current human behavioral patterns. Kim realized what he was hearing. They cannot change their tactics even when they know their current approach is failing. Exactly, Dr. Bay confirmed. 10,000 years of perfect success has made them inflexible. They have become so specialized for harvesting that they cannot adapt to a species that refuses to be harvested according to their plan. Admiral Lee brought up casualty reports. "We have lost 15 million people in the last month. But Commander, we have also destroyed over 3,000 Velthani ships. No other species has ever killed a single Velthani vessel during their harvest." "How is that possible?" Commander Seo answered. "Because we are not trying to win battles the way they expect. We are trying to make them lose battles they thought they had already won." She showed him footage from another engagement where human ships had deliberately crashed into Velthani vessels, but not before releasing clouds of what looked like space debris. What was in those clouds? Quantum bombs designed to disrupt crystal, matrix technology. We learned from studying their ships that their entire technological base depends on crystalline structures that resonate at specific frequencies. Disrupt the frequency, and their technology stops working. Taman joined the explanation. Every Velthani ship, weapon, and biological tool uses the same basic crystal technology. We found the frequency that makes it all fall apart. Dr. Bay pulled up technical readouts. But here is the interesting part. The Velthani know we have discovered this weakness. They could redesign their technology to use different frequencies, but they will not do it. Why not? Because changing their technology would require admitting that their current approach is flawed. Their entire culture is based on the belief that they are perfect galactic gardeners who never make mistakes. Adapting to human tactics would mean accepting that they are not as superior as they believe. General Kang smiled for the first time since Kim had returned to Earth. "Commander, we are fighting an enemy that would rather lose than admit they were wrong about us." Kim felt a strange mixture of hope and horror. "General, what is our ultimate goal? Are we trying to defeat them or just survive their harvest?" The room fell silent for a moment. Then Admiral Han's voice came over the intercom from the command center. "Commander Kim, please report to the Strategic Planning Center. It is time you learned about Operation Wildfire." Kim looked around at his colleagues. In their eyes, he saw something that scared him more than the Velthani biological weapons. He saw the cold, determined anger of a species that had decided to do something that had never been done before in galactic history. "What is Operation Wildfire?" he asked. General Kang's expression was completely serious. Commander, we are not trying to survive the Velthani harvest. We are not trying to defeat their attack. We are going to make sure that no other species ever faces what we have faced. How? We are going to make the Velthani extinct. All of them. Every single one. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Kim realized that humanity had moved beyond defending itself. They had decided to eliminate an entire species from the galaxy. Is that even possible? Dr. Bay answered quietly. Commander, 6 weeks ago, no human had ever killed a single Velthani. Yesterday, we destroyed an entire Velthani battle group. We are learning to do impossible things very quickly. 6 months after Operation Wildfire ended, Ambassador Kyungmi Ryu stood before the Galactic Commerce Alliance Council for the first time since humanity had wiped the Velthani from existence. The Great Council Chamber, which had once held representatives of 7 alien species, now felt empty with only 5 species present. The silence in the room was not peaceful. It was the silence of fear. Honored representatives, Ambassador Ryu began, her voice calm and steady. I come to inform you that the Velthani threat has been permanently eliminated. No member of their species remains alive anywhere in the galaxy. Ambassador Telmar of the Karathi species shifted nervously in his seat. His bird-like features showed the strain of months of worry. Ambassador Ryu, we must ask, how complete was this elimination? Completely complete, Ryu replied without emotion. Our forces located and destroyed the Velthani homeworld, all their military installations, all their breeding facilities, and all 237 of their nursery ships. We estimate that we eliminated approximately 2 billion Velthani individuals. The Zephyrian representative, a floating gas-based life form, pulsed with colors that indicated deep concern. In galactic history, no species has ever completely eliminated another intelligent race. There have been wars, conquests, even enslavements, but never total extinction. The Velthani were not ordinary enemies, Ryu explained. They had spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of genocide. They could not be reasoned with, negotiated with, or deterred. Complete elimination was the only way to ensure they would never harvest another species. Ambassador Quell of the stone-like granite people spoke in his slow, deep voice. Humans, we understand your reasons, but we must ask, what guarantee do we have that you will not decide we are a threat that needs elimination? Ryu had expected this question. It was the real reason the Alliance had called this meeting. The same guarantee any peaceful species has always had. As long as you do not attempt to exterminate humanity, we have no reason to harm you. But you have proven that you can exterminate an entire species if you choose to, pressed the Aquatic Federation's representative, her water-filled suit rippling with agitation. Yes, Ryu acknowledged simply. We can. The question you should ask yourselves is why we have never used this capability against any peaceful species, even when we had disagreements with them. Historian Jinwoo Ha, who had accompanied the ambassador, opened his files on the War Crimes Tribunal that had investigated every human action during the Velthani War. Honored representatives, humanity conducted a complete review of our actions during the elimination of the Velthani. We wanted to ensure that we had not become the very evil we sought to destroy. What did you find? Telmar asked nervously. We found that despite our capability for total warfare, humans maintained ethical standards throughout the conflict. We eliminated the Velthani quickly and efficiently, but we did not torture them or make them suffer unnecessarily. We took no pleasure in their deaths. The Crystalline Collective's representative chimed with harmonics that translated as skepticism. You destroyed an entire civilization. How can this be ethical? Elder statesman Hyun-Soo Moon, the former president who had authorized Operation Wildfire, answered from his seat in the human delegation. Because they left us no choice. We tried negotiation, we tried defensive warfare, we tried every alternative to total extinction. The Velthani would accept nothing less than the complete harvest of humanity. But surely some of them were innocent, the Aquatic Federation representative argued. Children, non-combatants, individuals who might have opposed their species. Actions? Dr. Park, now serving as humanity's chief xenobiologist, provided the scientific answer. We studied Velthani biology and psychology extensively. Their entire species was unified in the belief that harvesting other civilizations was not just acceptable, but morally necessary. We found no evidence of any Velthani who opposed their harvest activities. They believed they were gardeners improving the galaxy. Elder Moon added, every Velthani, from their leaders to their children, was raised to see other species as crops to be cultivated and harvested. There was no faction within their society that we could have allied with. Ambassador Ryu pulled up holographic displays, showing the aftermath of the war. Representatives, I want to show you what we did with the Velthani nursery ships before we destroyed them. The display showed human scientists working carefully in the crystalline storage areas of captured Velthani vessels. We cataloged and copied the genetic templates of all 47 species the Velthani had harvested. These templates are now stored safely on Earth and 3 other human worlds. Telmar's feathers ruffled with surprise. You preserved them? We did more than preserve them, Dr. Park explained. We are beginning the process of restoration. Using the genetic templates and the cultural data the Velthani preserved, we are attempting to bring back the extinct species. The council chamber fell silent as the representatives absorbed this information. Historian Ha brought up images from the restoration project. The first restored species was the Lyran civilization, which the Velthani harvested 3,000 years ago. We have successfully grown 12 Lyran individuals using their preserved genetic templates. You are bringing the dead back to life? The Zephyrian representative pulsed in amazement. We are undoing what the Velthani did, Ryu corrected. Each species they harvested will have the opportunity to live again, if their restored members choose to continue their civilizations. Elder Moon stood slowly, his age showing in every movement. Representatives, my species faced a choice between becoming victims or becoming killers. We chose to become killers so that no other species would become victims. But we also chose to become healers, to repair the damage the Velthani had done across galactic history. The restored Lyrans, what do they think of humanity? Asked Ambassador Quell. Dr. Park smiled for the first time during the meeting. They call us the gardeners of second chances. They understand that humans eliminated their killers and brought them back from extinction. How many species do you plan to restore? All 47 if possible. Some may choose not to continue their civilizations, and that will be their decision. But they will all have the opportunity to make that choice. The Crystalline Collective chimed with what sounded like approval. So humans eliminate Deathbringers and restore Lifebringers. We eliminate threats to innocent life, Ambassador Ryu clarified. The Velthani were not innocent. They were the greatest mass murderers in galactic history. But their victims were innocent, and they deserve a chance to live again. Telmar spoke cautiously. What happens now? How does the galaxy move forward after witnessing the complete elimination of an intelligent species? Elder Moon answered honestly, very carefully. The galaxy now knows that total warfare is possible. We hope it never becomes necessary again. But if it does become necessary, the Aquatic Federation representative asked, then it will happen, Ryu stated simply. Any species that attempts genocide against other civilizations will face the same fate as the Velthani. This is not a threat, it is a promise of protection for all peaceful species. Historian Ha brought up the final report from the War Crimes Tribunal. We have established protocols for any future conflicts. Humanity will not use the tactics we developed against the Velthani unless facing another species that practices systematic extermination of other intelligent life. And who decides what constitutes systematic extermination? Ambassador Quell asked. The same way we always have, Elder Moon replied. Through evidence, investigation, and careful consideration, the Velthani had 10,000 years of documented genocide. Any future judgment would require similar overwhelming proof. Ambassador Ryu brought the meeting toward its conclusion. Representatives, I want to end with this thought. 6 months ago, the galaxy contained an ancient evil that had murdered 47 civilizations. Today, That evil no longer exists, and 12 of those murdered civilizations are alive again. In 1 year, we estimate that at least 20 of the extinct species will have viable populations. In 10 years, maybe all 47 civilizations will be thriving again. The galaxy will be more diverse and more alive than it has been in thousands of years. Telmar looked around at his fellow representatives. The Karathi people have discussed this situation extensively. We have concluded that we would rather live in a galaxy protected by humans who can eliminate genocidal species than in a galaxy where such species are free to harvest civilizations. The other representatives nodded, their agreement, though their nervousness remained evident. Very well, Ambassador Ryu concluded. The Galactic Commerce Alliance can continue as before, with the understanding that humanity now serves as the galaxy's protector against species that practice systematic extinction. What if a peaceful species disagrees with human judgment? The Zephyrian asked. Ryu smiled, but there was steel behind her expression. Then they should hope they are right and we are wrong, because the alternative is discovering that we were right, and they waited too long to act. The meeting ended with a new understanding among the galactic species. Humanity had proven itself capable of ending any threat to innocent life, no matter how powerful or ancient. Commander Wusung Lim floated in the darkness between stars, his reconnaissance ship hidden inside what looked like a dead asteroid. For 3 months, he had been leading deep space missions into Velthani territory, mapping their civilization, while staying invisible to their sensors. What his team discovered changed everything humanity thought they knew about their enemy. Commander Kim, Lim reported back to Earth, you need to see this. We found the Velthani homeworld, and it is not what we expected. The images his team transmitted showed a planet that looked like a massive crystal garden. Cities grew from the ground in beautiful spiral patterns that reached toward the sky. But there were no signs of military installations, no weapons factories, no preparation for war. How many Velthani live there? Kim asked over the secure communication link. Maybe 50 million, but Commander, most of them are not fighters. They are more like farmers and artists. The warriors we have been fighting come from different worlds entirely. Dr. Youngsuk, who had joined the military as a strategic philosopher, analyzed Lim's data with growing amazement. This changes our understanding completely. The Velthani are not a military civilization. They are a farming civilization that happens to farm intelligent species. Captain Junho Shin, pilot of the experimental stealth ship Invisible Wind, had penetrated even deeper into Velthani space. His discoveries were even more disturbing. I found their breeding facilities, he reported. Commander, the Velthani reproduce very slowly. It takes them 300 years to produce a single generation. Their entire species numbers may be 2 billion individuals across the galaxy. That should make them easier to defeat, General Kang observed. Maybe, Dr. O replied, but it also makes them more desperate. They cannot replace losses quickly. If we hurt them badly enough, it could take thousands of years for their population to recover. Kim studied the intelligence reports in the strategic planning room. What else did you find, Captain Shin? Something that will make our decision much harder, Commander. I found what they call the nursery ships. The images Shin transmitted showed massive Velthani vessels that looked like floating crystal gardens. Inside each ship were millions of small containers holding what appeared to be genetic samples. Dr. Park, now serving as humanity's chief xenobiologist, examined the data with horror and fascination. Commander, these are not just genetic samples. These are complete genetic templates for every species the Velthani have ever harvested, including some that were destroyed thousands of years ago. They keep them as trophies? No, Dr. O realized. They keep them as ingredients. The Velthani do not just consume the species they harvest, they preserve them for future use. Every extinct civilization is still part of their ongoing cultivation project. Commander Lim's voice was grim. There is more. I found evidence that the Velthani have been experimenting with combining genetic material from different harvested species. They are trying to create new life forms using the best traits from everything they have collected. The implications hit everyone at the same time. The Velthani were not just galactic farmers, they were galactic scientists conducting experiments that had lasted for thousands of years. Every species they harvested became part of a larger project, to understand and control all life in the galaxy. What is their ultimate goal? Kim asked. Dr. O had been studying Velthani philosophy based on their intercepted communications. From what we can determine, they believe they are perfecting the galaxy. Each species they harvest teaches them something new about intelligence, creativity, or survival. They think they are creating a perfect universal civilization, using the pieces of every civilization they destroy? Exactly. In their minds, they are not committing genocide. They are collecting the best parts of each species to build something better. Captain Shin transmitted more data from his reconnaissance missions. Commander, I also found their historical archives. The Velthani have detailed records of every species they have harvested. They study each civilization for decades before making contact. How long have they been studying us? At least 50 years. They have been monitoring human communications, observing our colonies, and analyzing our behavior since before we made contact with any alien species. Dr. Park pulled up the analysis of Velthani historical records. This is incredible and terrifying. They have been planning the human harvest since we first left Earth. Everything we thought was first contact was actually the final stage of their cultivation plan. General Kang studied the tactical implications. So they know everything about us, but we are still defeating them in battle. How is that possible? Dr. O answered. Because they studied humans at peace. They never studied humans at war for survival. There is a difference between understanding human psychology and understanding human determination. Admiral Han joined the meeting with news from the war front. Our evolution protocol is working better than we hoped. The Velthani have lost over half their battle fleets trying to adapt to our changing tactics, but we have a problem. What kind of problem? Intelligence reports suggest they are preparing to abandon the gradual harvest approach. They are planning something called the final solution. We think they intend to destroy all human worlds simultaneously using planet-killing biological weapons. Park went pale. If they release their most advanced biological weapons, they could kill every human in the galaxy within days. How long do we have? Kim asked. Maybe 6 months before they are ready to deploy the final solution. Commander Lim leaned forward. Then we need to strike first. My reconnaissance teams have located their weapon development facilities and their command centers. We could destroy their ability to manufacture the planet killers. That would only delay them, Dr. O pointed out. As long as the Velthani exist, they will continue trying to harvest humanity. We cannot fight this war forever. The room fell silent as everyone understood what she meant. A temporary victory was not enough. As long as the Velthani species existed, humans would never be safe. Captain Shin spoke quietly. There is something else you need to know. The nursery ships I found. They are not just on the Velthani homeworld. They are scattered across the galaxy, hidden in deep space. Each ship contains the genetic templates of all 47 harvested species. How many ships? At least 200. Maybe more. Dr. Park realized the full scope of what they were facing. If we destroy the Velthani homeworld but leave the nursery ships intact, they could rebuild their entire civilization within a few centuries. Worse, they could use the genetic templates of extinct species to create new armies. General Kang pulled up star charts showing the locations of known nursery ships. So we would need to destroy not just their homeworld, but every single one of their hidden facilities across the galaxy. That is not the worst part, Dr. O added quietly. If we destroy the nursery ships, we also destroy the only remaining traces of 47 extinct civilizations. Every language, every art form, every scientific discovery of those species exists only in Velthani storage. The moral weight of the decision settled on everyone in the room. To eliminate the Velthani threat completely, humanity would have to destroy the preserved remains of every species the Velthani had ever harvested. We would be committing genocide against 47 civilizations that are already dead, Kim said slowly. Or we would be letting those civilizations finally rest in peace, instead of being used as weapons against new victims, Captain Shin countered. Admiral Han brought up the tactical overview of Operation Wildfire. The plan calls for simultaneous strikes against all known Velthani facilities. We have mapped their homeworld, their military bases, their breeding facilities, and most of the nursery ships. Most? We estimate we have located about 70% of their hidden facilities. The rest could be anywhere in the galaxy. Dr. O studied the operational plans with growing concern. If we miss even a few nursery ships, the survivors could rebuild the Velthani civilization and continue their harvest projects. But with one difference. Next time, they would know exactly how humans fight. So we would be creating an even more dangerous enemy? Possibly. Or we would be giving up our only chance to end this threat forever. Commander Kim looked around the room at the faces of his colleagues. In 6 months, humanity had gone from a peaceful trading civilization to a species planning the complete extermination of another intelligent race. Is there any alternative? General Kang answered bluntly. Yes. We can surrender and let them harvest humanity according to their schedule, or we can keep fighting a war we cannot win forever. Those are our only choices? Dr. O nodded sadly. The Velthani will never stop trying to harvest us. Their entire civilization is based on the belief that they are improving the galaxy by consuming other species. They cannot change their nature any more than we can change ours. Kim realized they had reached the point of no return. When do we launch Operation Wildfire? Admiral Han checked her tactical displays. All strike forces will be in position within 4 weeks. The simultaneous attack on all Velthani facilities will begin exactly 30 days from now. And after that, Commander, either the Velthani will be extinct or humanity will be. Commander Kim woke up in the ship's medical bay 3 days later. His head felt like someone had hit it with a hammer, and his vision was blurry. Dr. Park sat next to his bed, but she looked different. Her usual excitement was gone, replaced by something that looked like horror. Commander, you need to see this, she said quietly. The Velthani let us live, but what they did to the colonies. She could not finish the sentence. Tae-min helped Kim to the bridge, where the main screen showed news reports from across human space. The images were worse than any nightmare Kim had ever experienced. 3 human colonies had been attacked simultaneously. New Harmony, New Tokyo, and Eden Prime. Over 2 million people had died in less than 6 hours. How? Kim asked, though part of him already knew the answer. Captain Lee's voice was hard as steel. Biological weapons. The Velthani used everything they learned about human biology during our cultural exchange. They created diseases that target human DNA specifically. No other species would be affected. The reports from the colonies painted a picture of perfect coordinated attacks. The Velthani had struck during the night cycles when most people were sleeping. The biological weapons spread through the air systems of the colony domes. People died quickly, but not before the weapons did something else to their bodies. Sir, Tae-min said, his voice shaking. The medical reports from the colonies. The bodies were changed. The biological weapons turned human tissue into some kind of crystal material. Dr. Park pulled up the forensic data on her screen. It is not random, Commander. The transformation follows specific patterns. The Velthani are not just killing humans. They are converting our biological material into something they can use. Kim felt sick. Use for what? We intercepted some Velthani communications before they cut us off completely. They were discussing harvest quality and preparation methods. Commander, they are eating the transformed human tissue. We are not just their enemies. We are their food. The communication system activated with an incoming message from Earth. Admiral So Young Han appeared on the screen, her face showing the strain of the past few days. Commander Kim, thank God you are alive. We need your full report immediately. The Velthani have declared what they call a final harvest of humanity. Every human colony is now a target. Kim straightened in his chair despite the pain. Admiral, they have been planning this for much longer than we thought. This was not a sudden attack. They have been studying us since first contact, maybe even before. Explain. Dr. Park took over the report. Admiral, The speed with which they learned our language, their interest in our cultural databases, their focus on biological information. It all makes sense now. They had already identified humanity as a target species. Intelligence officer Jae-wook Nam joined the communication from Earth. We have been analyzing the attack patterns. The Velthani did not just attack randomly. They chose colonies with the highest genetic diversity. They are selecting for specific traits in the human population. What kind of traits? Captain Lee asked. Intelligence, creativity, emotional range. The things that make humans unique among galactic species. We think they have been doing this to other species for a very long time. Admiral Han's expression grew darker. We have been in contact with the Galactic Commerce Alliance. 6 of the 7 alien species we trade with have gone silent. Only the Karathi are still talking to us, and they seem terrified. The Karathi representative appeared on a split screen. Ambassador Telmar looked like a nervous bird-like creature. Humans, we must speak truth now. The Velthani have done this before, many times. We thought you were strong enough to resist them. How many? Kim demanded. Telmar's feathers shook with fear. 47 confirmed species over the last 10,000 years, always the same pattern. First contact, cultural exchange, biological analysis, then harvest. The Velthani call themselves the cultivators. They grow civilizations like farmers grow crops. Dr. Park stood up suddenly. The other species they mentioned meeting, those were not partners. Those were previous victims. Correct, Telmar continued. The Velthani keep genetic samples of all harvested species. They study the best qualities of each race, then use that knowledge to improve their hunting methods for the next target. Admiral Han looked directly at Kim. Commander, we need everything you learned about Velthani technology and biology. We are going to war. Kim nodded, but he had to ask the question that was bothering him. Admiral, why did they let my crew live? They could have harvested us immediately. Intelligence Officer Nam answered. We think they want you to report back to humanity. They want us to know what is coming. Fear makes the harvest more efficient. Panicked populations cannot organize effective resistance. Dr. Heejin Yoon joined the communication from the military research facility. Commander, we need to understand their biological weapons. How exactly do they convert human tissue? Dr. Park shared her analysis data. The weapons introduce microscopic crystal seeds into human cells. The seeds reproduce using human biological material as fuel. The process kills the host but preserves the cellular structure in crystalline form. And then they consume this? Dr. Yoon asked. From what we can determine, yes, but it is more than just food. The crystal conversion preserves memories, knowledge, even personality traits. They are not just eating human bodies, they are absorbing human minds. The bridge fell silent as everyone understood the full horror of what they faced. The Velthani were not just predators, they were collectors of intelligence and experience. Every human they killed made them smarter and more dangerous. Captain Lee was the first to speak. How do we fight something like this? Admiral Han's voice was firm. The same way humanity has always fought impossible odds, with courage, intelligence, and absolute determination. Commander Kim, I want you and your crew to return to Earth immediately. We need your first-hand knowledge of Velthani capabilities. What about the other colonies? Kim asked. We are evacuating what we can, but the Velthani are moving fast. They have ships positioned around every major human settlement. This is not random raiding. This is systematic extermination. Telmar spoke up again. Humans, there is something else you must know. The Velthani have never failed to complete a harvest once they begin. No species has ever successfully resisted them. Then we will be the first, Captain Lee said with deadly certainty. Intelligence Officer Nam brought up tactical displays. We estimate the Velthani have 40 to 50,000 ships scattered across the galaxy. Their technology is at least 200 years ahead of ours. They have biological weapons that can target any species specifically, and they have detailed information about human psychology, biology, and military capabilities. What advantages do we have? Kim asked. Dr. Yoon answered from her research station. Humans have one quality the Velthani do not expect. We adapt faster than any other known species. They have studied our past behavior, but humans under extreme threat behave differently than humans at peace. Explain. Every species they have harvested before followed predictable patterns when threatened. They either fought with the same tactics that had worked for them historically, or they tried to hide and hope the threat would pass. Humans do something different. What? We evolve. When faced with impossible challenges, humans change their entire approach to survival. We become something different than what we were before the threat appeared. Admiral Han nodded slowly. The Velthani have studied peaceful humans and defensive humans. They have never encountered humans at war with a species that threatens our existence. Commander Kim felt something cold and hard settling in his chest. Admiral, what are our orders? You are to report to Terra Prime immediately. Bring everything you learned about the Velthani. The Terran Federation is calling up every ship, every soldier, every scientist, and every engineer. We are going to show the Velthani what happens when they make humanity angry. Dr. Park looked up from her data analysis. Commander, there is one more thing. The Velthani communications we intercepted mentioned something called the Great Library. It seems to be where they store the preserved remains of all the species they have harvested. A museum of their victims? More than that, from what we can determine, they use the preserved minds to plan attacks against new species. Every civilization they have destroyed is still helping them kill the next one. Captain Lee's jaw tightened. Then we destroy the library. It will not be easy, Telmar warned. The Great Library is on the Velthani homeworld, protected by their most advanced defenses. We will find a way, Admiral Han said. Humanity has never backed down from a fight we believed in. The Velthani think they are harvesting another, helpless species. They are about to learn that humans are different. The communication ended, and the new soul began its journey back to Earth. But Kim knew they were not just returning home. They were returning to a humanity that was about to change forever.